You're watching KATU Channel 2, Portland. Now, in the spirit of the Northwest, this is Channel 2 News.
It's the breakthrough the nation has waited for. 2 arrests in the attack on skater Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding's bodyguard Sean Eckhart on the right, and former Portland resident Derek Smith. Both men face charges of plotting the assault that's captured the attention of the entire country. Good evening, I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Jeff Gianola. We begin tonight with the arrests. Channel 2's Michael Hanna tells us both men are now charged under Oregon law with conspiracy to commit assault.
Sean Eckhart refuses to answer reporters' questions as detectives lead him to jail. Authorities say the Portland native admitted devising a plot to injure Tanya Harding's top skating rival Nancy Kerrigan. Also under arrest, 30-year-old Arizona resident Derek Smith, who Eckhart allegedly worked with in an effort to carry out the scheme. Prosecutors have not revealed exactly what role Smith played in the alleged conspiracy. Detectives questioned Smith for most of the day after escorting him by plane from Phoenix to Portland. The arrests come after a day of speculation about the bizarre ice skating scandal.
I understand they were being held in question, or at least talking to someone, but we didn't get that information. We've been waiting for the last 24 hours, halfway expecting them.
Expectations ran high earlier this week for skater Tanya Harding as she arrived home with her bodyguard Sean Eckhart and her husband Jeff Gillooly by her side after winning a national title in Detroit, a competition marred by the attack on Kerrigan, who withdrew after suffering a bruised knee. Harding went on to earn a place on the U.S. Olympic team, which could someday mean millions of dollars in endorsements. While Smith and Eckhart spend time in jail, there's no word right now on the whereabouts of Tanya Harding's husband, Jeff Gillooly, or another man believed involved in the case. At the Justice Center in downtown Portland, Michael Hanna, Channel 2 News.
Bail has been set at $20,000 for both Smith and Eckhart, and as we've been reporting, sources in the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office say they do have an arrest warrant for Jeff Gillooly. He is not in custody at this hour. As for Tanya Harding, Deputy District Attorney John Bradley says a report that there's an arrest warrant out for her is, quote, hogwash.
And Channel 2 News has learned quite a bit more tonight regarding the background of 29-year-old Derek Brian Smith. Smith has extensive ties to Portland and lived here until just a few months ago. Well, Sheila Hamilton talked with Smith's former employer and is in the newsroom with more. Sheila, what'd you learn?
Well, Steve, Derek Smith's former supervisor couldn't be more shocked that his friend and star employee has been implicated in this case. From 1989 to October, Smith worked for a company in Milwaukee that provides care for the developmentally disabled. Supervisor Tom Cherry says he promoted Smith several times until the parent company in Phoenix hired him away. How was he as a worker?
Wonderful. Great guy. You know, the reason I agreed to talk to you is, I think he's one of the nicest guys I've ever known.
Smith resigned from his job in Phoenix after just 3 weeks. Cherry says at that point he began doing security consulting, an interest and hobby of his since his military training. Cherry says Smith's connection to Eckhart may be through security training, and that Smith may have introduced Eckhart to 22-year-old Shane Stant, who is Smith's nephew. ABC News has identified Stant as another hitman in this case. Smith's former employer said both Stant and Smith lived together in this home in Corbett for a short period of time. We'll be keeping you up to date on anything else we learn about either of these suspects tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, interesting insight on Derek Smith. Sheila Hamilton from the newsroom. Thank you.
Well, the other man jailed tonight in the Nancy Kerrigan attack case is described as a scary character by some of his Oregon acquaintances. Sean Eckhart, the bodyguard, left that impression on some of his childhood chums. The 26-year-old Eckhart is remembered by a former grade school classmate as someone who dabbled in strange science experiments. Another childhood friend says Eckhart used to experiment making bombs. More recently, Eckhart also tried to strike a friendship at Pioneer Pacific College with fellow students in a paralegal course. Rusty Reed says Eckhart was often bragging of exotic adventures.
He used to talk about all kinds of hits that he's done and different government agencies he's worked for and different countries he's worked for and all kinds of bizarre clandestine missions that he's claimed to have been on.
Reed says 2 days before the attack on skater Nancy Kerrigan, Eckhart asked him to kill someone for $65,000. Reed says he discounted the incident as another of Eckhart's tall tales.
One of the people who received the first notification that the plot was underway is Portland private investigator Gary Crow. You've seen him a few times on television already, but today on Channel 2 News at 5, he gave us some more interesting insight on how the alleged plot was revealed. You may remember Minister Eugene Saunders came to Crow after hearing an audio tape allegedly outlining plans for that attack.
The tape was played for him in Sean Eckhart's home. Mr. Eckhart was very worried that the gentleman from Arizona was going to be paying him a visit because he was not paid the funds promised. And at the time the tape was played for Saunders, Sean Eckhart almost gave him the tape for fear that he didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands and wanted to give it to him for safekeeping. But at the last minute, kept possession himself.
Now, Crow says he has complete confidence in Eugene Saunders that he's telling the truth about what he heard on that tape.
Now for the skaters. In 3 different parts of the country, the principal on-ice performers are making news as well.
Yeah, Lou Gellis is following that part of the story. He joins us now, Lou.
Well, while all the judicial and law enforcement activity was continuing today, the victim in this case, Nancy Kerrigan, was rehabilitating her injured knee back in Massachusetts. She remains silent on the developments tonight. Reporters are camped outside Kerrigan's house in a Boston suburb. About all they've seen is her come and go from her therapy sessions. After 2 days of rehab, doctors say Kerrigan is progressing well and should be ready for the Lillehammer Olympics next month. Exactly who will be on that Olympic figure skating team is not written in stone yet. In fact, a decision may not come for quite some time. United States figure skating officials today made it clear they'll wait until the Kerrigan investigation is complete. Harding made the team by finishing first in the Nationals last weekend in Detroit, but the team is not final until skating officials submit the 2 names to the U.S. Olympic Committee. They have until January 31st to do that. The Olympic Committee says it wants to ensure all members of the team represent the United States in the best possible way. And all of this has put one skater in a very precarious position. Remember 13-year-old Michelle Kwan? She finished second at the Nationals. This is her performing tonight in Virginia at the exhibition where Harding canceled. The youngster from California is not sure what to expect.
I don't know. Maybe if I make it, I'll be happy.
How about
go.
Remember, after Kerrigan was awarded Kwan's spot last weekend, Kwan was very gracious, saying Kerrigan deserved to be on the team and that she, Kwan, was just happy to be where she is at her age. And right now, I don't think she knows where she is at her age because this is still up in the air.
Yeah, so everyone's just waiting tonight.
Right.
Thanks, Lou.
Well, certainly been a great deal of speculation and a lot of confusion in the past several days, so we want to sort out where the story stands as of 11 o'clock tonight. Police have arrested 2 men in connection with the attack on skater Nancy Kerrigan. Tanya Harding's bodyguard, Sean Eckhart, and former Portland resident Derek Smith. Both have been charged with conspiracy to commit assault, a felony, and are being held on $20,000 bail at the Multnomah County Justice Center. Authorities say more arrests are expected. And despite earlier reports out of Boston, officials say there's no indication that Tanya Harding was involved in the plot against Kerrigan.
Well, because of all the scrutiny and attention this story has generated across the country, we want to let you know that this Sunday's Town Hall program will devote its entire hour to the Kerrigan investigation. It will be a live program where you will have a chance to express your views on the case by phoning in. You can see that program right here on Channel 2 News, Town Hall, 6 o'clock Sunday evening.
And I got a feeling you'll have something to do with that program.
Yes, I will.
We'll have the other news of the day in just a moment. What's next for one of the Menendez brothers after the jury decides it cannot make a decision?
And the picture from outer space is getting clear for the Hubble telescope.
The wrong doctor could cost you too much money or could cost you your health. Ralph Nader's tips for picking the right doctor. Next on You.
Tomorrow at 3 on Channel 2.
Now, Channel 2 News continues.
A shooting in Gresham tonight leaves 2 people dead and a 3rd wounded.
Now, that shooting happened just about 2 hours ago, and police have a suspect in custody. Details are still coming in, but we know the incident occurred at this residence on Northeast Kane in Gresham. A man called police and told them he'd shot his family. When officers arrived, they found 2 women dead. A 3rd woman was taken to University Hospital with gunshot wounds. Police arrested a 48-year-old man at the scene. The names of all involved have not been released at this hour.
Well, 5 months of emotional testimony in the Eric Menendez trial ended with a hung jury. Menendez and his brother are accused of murdering their parents for the family fortune. The jury came back today and told the judge they would never reach a verdict. The judge then declared a mistrial. Prosecutors have not said if they'll seek another trial. The jury in the Lyle Menendez case is still deliberating. The brothers admit killing their parents, but claim they did it after years of sexual and physical abuse.
The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus train derailed in Florida, killing 2 people today. The accident happened in Lakeland near Tampa. Soon after that derailment, a TV news helicopter taking pictures of the scene crashed in a nearby field. The pilot is in critical condition while the cameraman is stable. Killed in the derailment were an elephant trainer and one of the circus clowns. 14 others suffered minor injuries. None of the animals aboard the train was hurt. The circus was due to open Friday in Orlando. Circus officials say they'll open late, but that the show will go on. The cause of that derailment and the helicopter crash aren't known yet.
A historic agreement out of Russia tonight. President Clinton and Russian President Boris Yeltsin signed an agreement that makes the world a little safer. Both nations have agreed to stop aiming their nuclear weapons at each other. Another agreement signed with the Ukraine has that nation dismantling nuclear weapons left behind by the former Soviet Union. Earlier today, Yeltsin assured President Clinton Russia would not abandon its economic and political reforms. Yeltsin also said Russia would need more aid than the $4 billion already promised. Entertainer Barbra Streisand is opening up her pocketbook in memory of President Clinton's mother. Virginia Clinton Kelly died last week of breast cancer. Streisand donated $200,000 to a Little Rock hospital today. The money establishes the Virginia Clinton Kelly Breast Cancer Research and Education Fund. Kelly spent her last weekend in Las Vegas attending Streisand's New Year concert.
Shannon Faulkner missed her college class today, but she had a pretty good excuse. The U.S. Supreme Court ordered her to stay away. The 18-year-old South Carolina woman is trying to become the first female to ever attend regular classes at the Citadel. The Citadel is a state-funded, all-male military college. She won a court case forcing the Citadel to admit her and was to attend her first class this morning. But the state won an emergency stay from the Supreme Court, blocking Faulkner's attendance pending an appeal of the earlier ruling. GTE is going to eliminate 17,000 jobs nationwide over the next 3 years. Officials at the phone company's Texas headquarters say the cuts are needed to keep GTE competitive. The local GTE officials say it's too soon to determine how many Oregon jobs will be affected by the cuts. Company officials say the cuts will save GTE $1 billion a year.
Hubble can see again. NASA today declared last month's unprecedented repair mission of the Hubble telescope a complete success. Scientists say the space telescope can now clearly see galaxies 50 million light years away. Gone are the blurry photographs produced by the Hubble when it was first launched about 4 years ago. Last month, 5 days of spacewalks by shuttle astronauts succeeded in replacing faulty optics in the Hubble. NASA scientists say the Hubble's vision is so clear, now it could photograph the blink of a firefly 8,500 miles away. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really good to hear, too. A lot of folks were concerned that thing, they're all going up there to try and repair it, spending all that money.
And once they threw the switch, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Looks pretty good, though. Matt Safino joins us next with a look at the weather forecast. And first it was Chinese food, now it's Italian that's coming under the microscope. Just how good is that plate of pasta for you?
Yeah.
If you love Italian food, this story may leave a bad taste in your mouth. A consumer group has dished up the findings of nutritional content in pasta dishes served in restaurants. The worst, fettuccine Alfredo with 97 grams of fat. The government recommends no more than 65 grams per day. The nutritionist who conducted the survey says fettuccine Alfredo is worse than eating a stick of butter and describes it as a heart attack on a plate. The study says some dishes are healthy for people who want to reduce their fat intake. Your best bet, pasta with tomato sauce with 17 grams. You know, we got a whole panel of Italian food experts sitting right here.
You got all over here.
How can we do any better?
I'm getting so sick of these stories where first it was Chinese food, now it's Italian.
Can't eat anymore.
That's right. It's common sense, though, isn't it, though? I mean, you know, something's gobbed with butter on it, you know it's going to be...
You want to take it easy.
Of course you two Italian guys are going to say that, huh?
Yeah. Hey, I make the meanest spaghetti sauce in town. We should have a sauce-off sometime.
We'll have a sauce-off sometime,
You know, I was just looking at the temperatures up in Minnesota. Duluth right now, it's minus 23.
Wow.
There's a wind of 15. The wind chill is minus 62. The skin can freeze in about 30 seconds with wind chills like that. It's going to be a rough couple days up that part of the world. In our part of the world, not too bad. It's foggy outside, but look at our temperature, 50. Pretty warm night. Winds are calm, barometer's falling, and the freezing level is at 10,800 feet. Lots of warm air over the northwest, and if you were able to get away from the fog, you hit some real warm temperatures with this high pressure center It was 65 in the Dalles today, 63 in Pendleton. That was a record high. This low is going to change things a little bit as it moves on up into British Columbia. We're going to get a couple showers out of it tomorrow night and into early Saturday morning. Most of it will be north of Seattle, but we'll get a couple of them down here in Portland. Again, no big deal, and no cold air coming into the northwest at all. Why? The jet stream going up and around, and then it grabs that big cold polar high and drops it on down into the Rockies. More on that in a minute. But for us, a little rain to start the weekend, and then the rest of the weekend looks downright nice. We'll have some fog again in the morning. Nationally, some showers in the southeast, but they'll wish they had temperatures that could cause rain instead of snow by the time they get into the weekend, because all this cold air is moving down. Sunshine, south-central part of the country, and some record-high temperatures in California, too. The big story, of course, though, is this high that's dropping on down literally straight from the pole. It's been connected up there, and now it's moving on down. There's some snow ahead of this. They had about 3 inches in Cleveland, and a lot of that is because of lake effect. What is lake effect? You hear us talk about it all the time. Well, with the lakes, they're relatively warm. The water temperatures stay pretty warm. You get this very cold air moving across, and that warm water makes the air warm up at the surface. It rises because it's a little bit warmer, adds a little moisture to it, and you get the clouds forming. And then those clouds move on off the lake because of the strong winds, and they move over the land, get a little bit of lift from the hills, and that's when the snow piles up and it drops very heavy amounts, sometimes a foot or more, but it's a very narrow band. You'll get sometimes just about a 10-mile band where you see that, and it shows up on the satellite picture. Look at this. You can see part of Lake Michigan right here is clear until you get to the other side on the onshore flow onto the lake. That's where it clouds up. Same thing, Lake Superior, it's clear up on this side, but with the winds coming out of the north, it clouds up as you get to the other side of the lake. All of that is because of lake effect. The Arctic front right now extending down about that far. Behind that, wind chills will go down to 80 below, and all temperatures will be below zero, so it's going to be nasty up that way. Just -6 for a high in Minneapolis tomorrow. Foggy and cloudy on the coast with rain late. In the valleys, we'll have fog and low clouds and then showers late in the day. Up in the gorge, morning fog and increase in clouds with an east wind, 10 to 20, but warm temperatures. Cascades, increase in clouds with showers late, temperatures in the 40s, and those will be rain showers with the snow level just about 5,000 feet. Central and eastern Oregon, valley fog and then clouding up, and I'll be back with your weekend forecast right after this break.
Night after night, for weeks on end, he's been hot on the trail, hunting down every lead. Fred Meyer presents President Cy Green, the super sleuth of savings, in the case of the It Better Be a Good One sale. How he tracked down buys so low remains a mystery. It's a classic tale of detection, of spellbinding savings, showing 1 week only. You'll find it at Fred Meyer.
We'll start out tomorrow morning with some fog, then a few sun breaks, and then the rain comes in, but warm, up to 55 tomorrow. And that rain Friday night is not a big deal, just a couple showers lasting into Saturday morning and then clearing out the rest of Saturday. And the rest of the weekend looks good too, just morning fog Sunday. Then late Monday we'll get some rain coming in, lasting into showers on Tuesday. And next week we may begin to change this pattern around a little bit, let the east warm up and let us cool down a little bit, not like back there, but a little bit, and get a little wetter too.
It's almost like spring. I see some of the bulbs coming up already and some of the things starting to bloom already.
Yeah, they sure have. We've had calls on that in the weather room, and they're trying to get us to come out there and, I don't know, do something about it.
Yeah, maybe dig them up. Right. Thanks, Matt.
A lot of talk tonight in the newsroom about
bulbs. We all bulbs.
One of the photographers came back from the Portland Pilots game and told me about some 6-foot guy just had a tremendous slam dunk tonight.
Quan?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was Ron Quant.
Yeah, the photographer.
Did he tell you to get his name on the air? Was that the deal?
Sports guy. There's a dinner in it. Ron Quant. 3 dinners now. No, but he's right. You can see a 6'1" guy from USF with a monster dunk coming up, but the best dunk comes from the Pilots. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. The University of Portland opened conference play tonight by hosting San Francisco at the Chiles Center. USF led by 2 at halftime, but Portland led by 2 at the end. LaRon Bristol did not start for the Pilots, but he pumped them up off the bench, wound up leading the Pilots with 18 points. Pilots led by 7 after that. But the Dons rallied. Orlando Smart paced San Francisco with 20 points. The hanging jumper put the Dons ahead by 4. They led by 2 at the break. Second half, here's the dunk. Gerald Walker tried to press the issue. The Dons with the steal. There's the 6-foot guard with the emphatic slam. USF by 5. But Portland methodically worked back into this one. Bristol followed up the miss back to a 6-point Pilot advantage. And then here's Walker again. A game of runs. The Dons scored 8 straight to catch the Pilots and take the lead by 2. Nip and tuck from there. Ray Ross is back. He nabbed the steal. Fed Kanan Chapman for the big dunk. Back to a 2-point Portland advantage. So it came down to this with 3 seconds left. Smart missed the free throw on purpose, hoping to get the ball back, but Kurt Ranta pulled it down for Portland, and the Pilots won by 2, 83-81. In Pullman, the Washington State Cougars ran off to a 10-point lead by halftime against UCLA, a lead they maintained most of the half. But in the second half, the Bruins managed to avoid the upset. The Bruins strung together a quick 6 to open the second half, and then they put the Cougars away down the stretch. Tyus Edney coming up with the capper here, and UCLA beat Washington State 81-79. So Pac-10 results tonight. The Bruins held on in Pullman. USC dumped the Huskies. Cal needed overtime to stun 6th-ranked Arizona, and Arizona State beat Stanford. NBA tonight, Charles Barkley still in street clothes for Phoenix with a bad back, and that gave San Antonio all kinds of room to roam underneath. Terry Cummings nabbed the rebound, and he scored. And then David Robinson simply went off. 27 points for Robinson tonight, 16 rebounds. The Spurs pasted the Barkless Suns 107-88. So San Antonio clobbered Phoenix. The Kings gave Charlotte a tough night, 115-104. Charlotte here on Sunday. Utah down Milwaukee. Washington clobbered the suddenly sputtering Rockets. New York dumped Detroit. Cleveland smashed New Jersey. Blazers off tonight, but Terry Porter could play tomorrow. He did practice today, and they'll decide tomorrow whether he'll be able to go in the game against the Miami Heat. The Trailblazers indicate that Clyde Drexler could return to the team, possibly by Sunday against Charlotte. At least that was the word we heard earlier this week, but Drexler did not practice with the team today, so that's all still up in the air. He is, however, getting close. Chris Dudley, another matter. Originally, doctors said up to 12 weeks before he could return. We're in week 10 now, and there's no indication that Dudley could return any sooner than 3 weeks from now. Michael Jordan confirmed in a published report today that he does indeed intend on going to spring training with the Chicago White Sox. The team confirms that they're considering allowing Jordan to try out. Remember, Jordan's only baseball experience since Little League is a number of celebrity and charity softball games. Jordan has been working out 3 hours per day, 5 days a week at Comiskey Park for the last couple of months. Back to college basketball to close things off. The Black Coaches Association is saying that it will organize a boycott to protest the NCAA's refusal to allow 14 scholarships per team in Division I rather than the current limit of 13 per team. The association is angered by the scholarship limit because the members think that fewer scholarships affect blacks to a greater degree since the majority of Division I players are black. One team we could see boycotting games is Texas Southern. The coach of that team explained why.
It's a much deeper than cost-cutting and educational reform. It's designed to eliminate a lot of young people from the education process and from the athletic fields and basketball courts.
And aside from simply refusing to play games, there's the list of other things that could possibly happen with this boycott coming. One important high school score to pass along in AAA boys play tonight. Woodburn upset top-ranked Sweet Home by 7, 59-52.
Yeah. Wasn't that a great dunk, though?
Oh, it's awesome. That's why I showed it.
Yeah. Didn't quite look 6 foot to me, though. Huh? No. Which makes
His arm
it
was
even
up
better.
to here. It was up to here.
It was. Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Well, you guys can continue that conversation. But when we come back, we're going to have the latest on the Nancy Kerrigan investigation. We will bring you up to date on what we know at this hour. Stay with us.
Excuse me, there's an extra patty of beef on my cheeseburger? Oh, that's Wendy's 99-cent quarter-pound double stack. That comes that way.
No way, dude.
Way, sir.
Is there a problem here?
Wendy's quarter-pound double stack is such a great deal at 99 cents. Some people find it hard to believe.
So you see, it comes with 2 patties of beef.
Okay, but are you sure let's go with the boss?
The boss?
You know, Wendy.
The quarter-pound double stack, just 99 cents every day on Wendy's Super Value menu.
There's a reason this 94 Taurus comes with front-wheel drive, V6 power, anti-lock brakes. There's a reason it gives you dual airbags, and a reason it offers 4-wheel independent suspension. The reason is simple. The Taurus was built for the signs of our times. The Ford Taurus, the best-selling car in America. Drive one today at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
You have done nothing for the last 5 years but destroy my life.
Could a misunderstanding with your sibling turn into this?
Why don't you grow up and just leave me alone? I have.
Tammy and Tony have been feuding for 5 years.
I locked up my son because of her. I can't believe you said that.
Wasn't there a time when the two of you cared about each other and loved each other?
She has hurt me too much.
Can they forgive each other? Next, Sally. Watch Sally tomorrow at 4 on KATU Channel 2.
The Nancy Kerrigan investigation is becoming a little clearer tonight. Here's what we know at this hour. FBI agents and local authorities tonight arrested 2 men and charged them with conspiracy in the Kerrigan attack. Harding's bodyguard, Sean Eckhart, and Derek Smith are both being held on $20,000 bail. More arrests are expected. Channel 2 News learned earlier today that a warrant for Harding's husband, Jeff Galuli, has also been issued. And just who will make the trip to Norway for the Olympics next month is no longer clear. Officials are waiting for the investigation to resolve itself. They say they want to make sure team members represent the U.S. in the best possible way.
Yeah, lots more still to come tomorrow with the arrests, of course, tonight. It's likely these 2 guys will be arraigned tomorrow, and of course we'll have that, and there's always possibility of more arrests.
Yeah, so stay with Channel 2 News. We'll keep you up to date. That's it. Have a good day tomorrow, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
ABC News and Channel 2 News, recognized as the leader in television news.
The following is a Channel 2 editorial.
The sensational aspects of the story about the assault on figure skater Nancy Kerrigan have overshadowed the real issues of justice and judgment and ethics in sports and in life. Where you learn your lessons of life has a great deal to do with how you face the problems that are bound to come. One generation learned from sports writer Grantland Rice, who set down the idea that, in the end, it didn't matter whether you won or lost, but how you played the game. The generation that followed learned from Green Bay Packers coach Ernie Lombardi that winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. They were the professionals of their era, but they held us to a higher standard, professional or not. Amateur athletes, then and now, are held to those higher standards of performance and character. But who in this generation offers the lessons of life on which character and performance are built? And how will even-handed justice be applied to the attack on Nancy Kerrigan or in the judgments used to determine the future of skater Tonya Harding? His bodyguard confessed, ordering the attack. Only time and distance will help make those judgments. The lessons to be learned are already clear. I'm Rick Myers.
If you would like to respond to this editorial, write feedback. KATU, Post Office Box 2, Portland, Oregon, 97207.